You see how the coatings kind of wore off? It either wore into it, or this is a little different thickness, or LOSI made some change, or they just weren't tested when they were built. They're literally identical. So just be prepared to modify. Don't force things together. If something's not working smooth, just make a correction. It's not that big of a deal. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of the tools, but like I said, buy a Dremel kit. When it comes to RC, you're definitely going to need a Dremel. But there we go. Differential's upgraded. I'm going to count the pinion on this, and we're going to get the motor swapped out. But I'm going to take a look how much time we've been filming. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome back. So today we are working on the DBXL-E, the original, getting ready to do a comparison against the DBXL-E 2.0. In the last video, went ahead and added some earplugs to the center diff and changed out the spur gear. Here's the old spur gear. Had to do some modifications to this one. This was the part we used. As you see, DBXL-E. It doesn't even say 2.0. This was the upgraded gear for this RC. So I'm kind of shocked that it didn't fit like it was supposed to fit. It's a 48 tooth compared to the original one. In case you guys need it, there was the part number. So we are going to, I gotta count this pinion gear, but as you see, it doesn't even touch. Well, it kind of touches. But we're gonna go ahead and get this motor out of here. The motor so that just pulls out, which is kind of cool. So this spins nicely in here. So we'll set that off to the side, put that motor screw with it. So what I like to do is mark it so I know which tooth I start with, so I can figure out if this is the upgraded gear or not. So we're going to start with the one I marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the upgraded gear. I already pulled off the 14 from it. So I'm going to save this 17 tooth for the 2.0. The 2.0 is the one that was a little weak. So we're going to go ahead and reuse this gear because this is LOSI's upgraded gear. And I remember this one kept coming loose, so I used a lot of Loctite on it. Because it just kept coming loose. So we're going to heat it up. Hopefully that's enough. There we go, nice and easy. Yeah, that's a lot of Loctite coming out of there. And definitely don't want to touch it. I'm sure that's pretty hot. So we're going to unwrap the Max 5 combo now. Gotta say, this is the first time I bought a whole combo. Normally I buy the motor and ESCs and all that stuff separate. But I found a combo, so it was a good price, so I ended up buying it. Let's see what we get in here. Look at that. I got a nice box to store some parts in. Max 5 ESC, the 800 kV Hobbywing system, which is going to match up good against our DBXL-E 2.0. That's got an 800 kV castle. That's censored. This kit is not censored. Let's grab our motor now. We're going to get our motor opened up out of this. Wow, that thing's tight. So nicely packaged. Wow, that thing is in there. First thing I notice is how small the bullets are. Look about the same as these factory ones, so these have got to be like the 5mm bullets. And any paperwork in this motor? Yes, so we got some paperwork, which I like to keep. So what I'm going to do, because the wires are going to have to face a certain way, we're just going to match them up like this, and I'm going to transfer this plate over. Come on. Lift this up, transfer this down. So this was an 800 kV fuse motor in it, and we're just changing it. Thought this was a 780, but it's good to know it's 800 kV. This is good to use in one of my other RCs. I just want to try out Hobbywing versus Castle. So the next thing to do is go ahead. I gotta get the gear on. Not going to crank it down yet. Put the one screw in it that I have. That screw's bent too. Mesh is pretty good. What you gotta do is fix the alignment. I like to get it in the center. And tighten this one down. There we go. Now we can pop in the assembly. So this has to go in first. Like that. And we'll get the chassis screws out. And I'll have to hold it and put them in from the bottom. The two long screws are the furthest forward right here, and then the three short go back here. So let me get that mounted down. We'll be right back. All right, so before you bolt this thing down, make sure that you put your ESC wire. It goes underneath this bracket. This bracket's got a slot in it like the wire rests on top, but that's not what it's for. It actually goes underneath and behind this, as you see here. I'll flip you guys around to the other side. So as you see here, here's the ESC wire extension right here. Make sure that it doesn't get trapped underneath the motor mount and that it's securely latched underneath that. LOSI does a good job in wire management, so you kind of want to make sure that you follow the way it was before. That way no wires get ripped, torn, cut, broken. As you see by like this, even this wire run across the chassis, the wire is secure. This is the light wire all the way to the body. So LOSI's wire management is really good. All right, now that we got that done, motor's mounted, everything's secure there, we're gonna go ahead and open up the Max 5. Here you go, nicely packaged. Long ESC wire, which we can probably get rid of that extension wire and run this right to the box if we wanted to, but I'm just going to roll this thing up and plug it into the extension harness. That way I don't have to get into the receiver box. It does give you the extra wire to split the battery, which is very cool. They give you the manual so you know how to operate it, Hobbywing decals, double-sided tape, and shrink tubing and zip ties to get everything mounted down properly. The 3M tape that they give you. We are going to use the 3M tape. Going to use some dry wash. Going to clean up this area. Double-sided tape. Stick it down on the platform. Then before we peel the tape, we're going to go ahead and see which way is the best. Be nice if it fit in here this way. That's right against the spur gear. Looks like I'm going to have to take this off. So just one screw for this support bracket right here. I'm going to go ahead and keep this with my LOSI stuff. And ESC will fit right in here. Wires look like they'll reach. I tend to try to plug everything in so I know about where everything's going to reach to. C. That way I know where that lies. As you see, I still haven't secured it. There we go. Everything will be nice and tight. That'll be hidden down there. And then we will end up mounting our switch probably somewhere over here, I would imagine. So it's going to be something like that. These wires will be nice and tight. No sense in going into a holder. Then when we get the battery thing made up, we'll be able to use this one right here to go ahead and secure the line back for this battery. So one will have to go here, one will have to go here. So we'll have to make it kind of long. And we'll go that way. I got to use some alcohol and clean the chassis to use the piece they give you for the switch. Now, normally the two-sided tape comes undone, so I'll end up using a gasket maker. This I think is gray, so I'll end up using this to secure the switch and to secure the ESC. But I'll use the two-sided tape first and see how long it lasts. But I'm pretty sure they're going to come loose and I'm going to have to use gasket maker. There we go. Let me get this tape peeled, get the chassis cleaned, and then we'll get all this stuff secured down. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we went ahead and got the ESC mounted down, we got the switch mounted down. Now it's time to take the cable they provide us and the shrink tubing, and we're going to go ahead, and the way this is going to work is we're going to clamp this down here. One of the ends are going to go here and one of the ends will go here. So we'll have to cut one side shorter, and then that'll give us right and left for battery. So the easiest way to do this, and as you see, a Max 5 is where I keep all the ends that I need to use. So as you see, I do repurpose the boxes. I keep them, so I'll have another box to put stuff in. It's going to be the outer, this is the inner, so we know which one needs to go where. So this is what I need to solder, and I have my handy dandy little adjustable wrenches, so I know this is the side I need to solder. Flat part, round part on the other one. Easiest way for me to remember it. These are going to be the batteries. So, but this is going to go on here. This one is going to go on this way. Or no, they got to face each other. So like that. So I'm going to put those on first so that I can click them onto here. This is going to go in here. So I just need to strip it back a little bit more. That's going to go in there. Keep the plastic away from it for now. I am going to angle this down a little bit so the wire is straight. So we're going to dip it in some flux. We're going to get our soldering iron that's been heating up for way too long. And we're going to go ahead and start heating everything up. Now I showed me soldering this before. Now, you don't want this side to have any solder dripping around it, or these won't lock in. So we did the flat part on one side, so the next one you're going to do the round, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't, whether you know it's positive or negative at this point. You don't. You just know you need to solder one on the flat side and one on the round side, and the outer one is the one we're soldering. When you pull them apart, the outer shell that slips into this one is going to be your males. Your battery ends are the females. And I make sure that I push these together all the way, because you don't want those tabs moving. So when I set this up, I know this is the side I'm going to solder next. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, right? Put this in here. Well, we still need some flux. Well, before I need flux, I need to go back a little bit, because these connectors, the wire is so small for these terminals. That way it's all the way in the back. We're going to go ahead and pre-tin our soldering gun. We let it recoup a little bit. We're going to go ahead and Get it nice and hot and just start feeding it with solder. And if you don't have a good soldering gun, when you start this process right here, your iron's going to go cold because the connector is sucking all the heat and the wire is sucking the heat. And it will no longer take solder because it becomes a cold solder. You can tell every time the solder stops getting sucked in, it's because it's cooling off. So now I just need to heat the brass and get everything nice and hot. So we're going to let it sit here until that connector starts sucking it in. There we go. Clean your tip, cool off the tip before you stick it in the iron, and then let it heat back up. Now we're going to make sure that no solder came down anywhere around this. You want to make sure there's no solder there. So those are two good solders, and now this one can clip onto this side and this one can clip onto this side. So I'm going to let this cool off for a second. We're going to go ahead and strap this thing in here. And then negative's going to go to negative and positive's going to go to positive on the other terminal. So whichever side is positive goes to positive, whatever side is negative goes to negative. If you're unsure, always grab your battery connector. Our round side is going to be negative, our flat side is going to be positive. So the flat side gets the red wire right here, and the curved side gets the negative, well, which is this side. But before you solder them on, make sure that you go through the connector like this, and then the red one like this. And that's how we're going to end up doing this. And then I want that wire is going to latch down right there in the middle. So I'll cut the other two wires accordingly so they fit on my connectors, and that's how I do it. So I want this even. This is going to have to go under that. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this in, and I'm going to get the other two soldered up. But there you go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on my next video. System's in. Next video, we're going to do the steering servo and possibly put on a fan. With this gearing, I might need a fan. But we might run it first because I don't have another game changer regulator. So I'm going to finish up the soldering here. You guys don't need to see it anymore. You know how to do it. Flat side on one, round side on the other. Do your jumper wire. Red goes to power, black goes to ground, whatever's left on your terminal. There we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on my next video. Thanks for watching.